Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. Pretty screwy game last night between the Clippers and the Warriors, so I went through the second half and chose a bunch of plays that caught my eye just to give you a little taste of what's happening individually on these plays and whether or not the decisions that are being made are correct and if the strategy is working or not.
When a team high hedges the pick and roll like DeAndre Jordan does here, the short roll could get wide open shots. Redick should have been one step closer to his man in the corner, but there's not much he can do closing out on the 6'7" Thompson. Blake Griffin missed his first 10 shots from the post, and Mark Jackson kept him guessing by doubling ever so often to great results. The Clippers needed Jordan to flash to the free throw line here. A pass there creates a 2-on-1 with CP3 and Redick on Iguodala, who simply couldn't guard both. Instead, Jordan is in the way of the skip pass to CP3. It's a bad pass, and the whole offense dies on the vine, and Griffin has to jack up a crazy shot as the shot clock winds down. For those that still doubt Klay Thompson's defensive ability, just watch how incredible he is at moving his feet and sliding to keep a slightly injured Chris Paul in front of him. He simply doesn't give CP3 an inch of breathing space, hounding him until the other defensive star Draymond Green can rip the ball. I liked this wrinkle on horns that Doc used to take advantage of the smaller Curry guarding Matt Barnes. Instead of being in the corner, Barnes slides to the low post and Blake feeds him from the elbow. Since Blake did so poorly from the low post all night, you can't blame Mark Jackson for not sending the double team. And it appeared to work out as Blake misses yet again, but he doesn't give up until that darn ball is in the hoop. On the double ball screen, DeAndre Jordan does the right thing by hedging high above the three-point line on Curry. Blake and DJ rotate nicely to cover each other's men, but this now means Jordan is guarding Green, who floats to the corner for the wide open three because Jordan simply isn't used to jumping out that far. In a closeout game, you cannot give away any possession due to poor effort, but that's what we see here as both Blake and DeAndre don't hustle back down, and Steph Curry puts on some serious speed to finish at the hoop. There were multiple players in foul trouble, and it started for Blake with this very curious call on the pass out to the top. While Blake Griffin's results in the post were elite, his footwork was never exemplary, and it even came back to haunt him on defense. As the screen came, he should have put his back to the baseline and stepped around. Whether it was a flop or not, you simply don't back up into the screener like this. I'm sure this didn't smell right to the ref. We've talked before about Draymond Green's incredible hustle, but watch how he goes from guarding Crawford on the perimeter to sprinting down low to help, gets the block, then corrals it to start the break. This was a head scratcher by Mark Jackson. With Jermaine O'Neal out, he's forced to play David Lee with 5 fouls. The Clippers isolate with Blake on him, and this would have been the perfect opportunity to double. Instead, Lee gets his 6th foul and is disqualified. More bad defensive footwork by Blake Griffin. As the ball gets passed to his man, he shouldn't step backwards with his right foot. It should be a right foot pivot so his body can square up facing Spates. Instead, he backs into him. Obvious call. And here's where Jamal Crawford can either shoot you in or right out of a game by missing this bad contested shot and going for the rebound. It's his job to get back on defense, and when he foolishly goes for the ball, it gives up the long pass and layup. One of my favorite things about horns with the Clippers is when CP3 plays at the elbow. A simple inside ball screen gets him space to shoot the jumper. With only 1.2 seconds in the shot clock, Doc draws up this awesome out-of-bounds play, sending Collison through as a decoy, then wrapping Crawford around the screen. When Klay and Curry run into each other, even a bad CP3 pass can't stop Crawford from scoring. Since the Warriors were missing some players, they resorted to this weird lineup where Draymond Green was the center, I guess. It caused matchup issues for the Clippers in the fourth. Redick doesn't have much hope of stopping the much bigger Klay's shot. If you're wondering what playing like a team really means, it means making a very solid cut to the hoop on the out-of-bounds play, forcing reaction by Griffin to help. That opens up Green, who gets it, and there's not much Griffin can do except pat Green on the back. When you're up by 7 with under 4 minutes to go, you have 2 directives. 1, take your time, and 2, get a great shot. While the Warriors do milk some of the clock, of all the options they have with their offense, isolating on the perimeter for a Steph 20-footer was not a good idea. If you want to know how to properly defend my beloved elevator play, you'd guess the Warriors would be the team to know how to do it. Simple. Green switches with Iguodala, elevator broken. However, Green strays way too far off of Redick and the ball is essentially one pass away. Redick makes him pay. Again, the Warriors involve DeAndre Jordan in the pick and roll. He hedges well, but on the short roll back to Green, Blake is way too slow reacting to the extra pass to the corner, and instead of getting a hand up, he does a boneheaded play by tapping Iggy on the leg, giving up a 4-point play. Mark Jackson was forced into a screwy lineup, and Doc decided to try DeAndre on Iggy and Crawford on Green. Feels like they could have had Jordan on Harrison Barnes, Crawford on Iggy, and Matt Barnes on Green. However, they almost get away with it, except Crawford can't keep his man Green off the boards, and Jordan fouls out because of it. The Clippers run a play that is beautiful in its simplicity. A curl by Crawford gets Iggy a step behind Crawford, and when Green steps to help, there is no way to prevent this lob pass. Down by 2, Jackson went back to his ISO in the post ball, which hadn't been a good look at all for the Warriors, but Harrison Barnes gets a step and Redick tries valiantly to take a charge, but is clearly not set and is called for the block. With a 2-for-1 situation, the Clippers again call for the pin down curl for Crawford. However, Chris Paul correctly reads the play, gets the opening down the lane, but uncharacteristically misses the layup. They do make one final defensive stand, but I think Collison should have kicked out to Crawford on the wing for an open 3. Relying on a ref's call in this situation is not the way to go, and when he doesn't get it, the clock ends up working against them, and when they miss a few shots in a row, the game gets away from them. Hello, Game 7.
So there you have it, sports fans. Two things that pop up in my mind. First, the Clippers with Blake Griffin in the post, they better clean that up in a hurry because if he goes through his first 10 post-ups without scoring, they're in for a world of trouble, and they better adjust to that really good double team that Jackson was throwing out there on occasion. On the flip side, Mark Jackson should stay away from these ISO ball plays where they're trying to exploit a matchup. It's not a great look for them. They're much better when they're moving 5-man in tandem to create a shot as a team. Well, thanks for joining us. Huge game tomorrow with all these Game 7s on Saturday, plus a lot of great Game 6s tonight. So follow us on Twitter. I respond to almost every tweet I get. It's a real fun time. Like us, subscribe, all those things, because don't forget, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation.
You in?